Hey guys, it's James Hall with Bassmaster Magazine here with John Jones and Lochaw Ranch Management back on the Lake Y Project. And John, I'm excited about this step. We're going to talk today about adding structure to Lake Y, and it's really the first thing that that we can do to actually improve the fishery.
And certainly improve the fishing. So what we like to see in a lake is somewhere around 20% structure, hard structure if we can help it. And I noticed that you've cut down some brush and trees. Tell me a little bit how you came about these.
well, I got these from my neighbor. All right, these are we have a Christmas tree option, and it's a popular option. I mean, there's a lot of people that will get Christmas trees from around the neighborhood and go sink them in not only private lakes but public lakes. And on a scale of awesome structure and cover, where do you rate the Christmas tree?
Well, I rate them awesome from the perspective that they're available every year. Longevity is very, very poor. We use the word melt, probably not the right word, but they melt pretty quickly in a lake. Now that being said, there was one lake that I did a survey on that we shocked over 150 bass off of a single Christmas tree. And so when there's nothing else, fish are going to go to it. But if you look at this tree right here, it's got some great attributes for bait fish. It's got a lot of complex structure here. Bait's going to love this. Unfortunately, within just a few months, most of this starts to disintegrate. If you're going to put these out, I like them in bundles or piles, something that's going to stay together. These stems will stay for a few years. Another thing I don't like about this are cedar trees. Cedar trees is like this, but it lasts for longer, is if you get a hook on there, it almost never comes off. And so these can be a real source of frustration with small anglers. Over here we have some hardwoods, and I do love hardwoods. So I like to get as big a pieces as I can. Again, we're trying to get to 10 or 20% of the lake that has a good complex structure, and just taking a few branches aren't going to get you there.
Right, and the hardwoods, they're going to last quite a bit longer than your pines.
Years and years and years and years. And so I don't know how long, but I've drained down lakes where the hardwoods were still good 15 years later. What I like to do with a perfect size brush pile, to me, is about the shape of a semi-trailer. And so I like it long, I like it tall, but I like it pretty narrow from side to side. What we've seen in our surveys, if you make a big pile that gets too big around, there'll be fish that live in the middle of that pile and you never get to pull them out again. A fish that's grown, that's never targeted by a lure, that's a wasted fish. So right. I like to build on piles. I don't like Johnny Apple seeding them. I want to be very targeted with where those piles go. I want to pick the right spot for your lake, and every lake's a little bit different, and identify those spots. Spend a lot of time mapping where you're going to put those piles and why you're going to put those piles where they are, and then build on them year by year. You're going to be better off with fewer, larger, more complex piles that you replenish than you are dropping a little bit of brush here and a little bit of brush there. The big problem with that is a lake grows roughly speaking, a certain number of fish. And if they're attracted to this little piece of brush that you drop somewhere, but forgot where it is or can't find it, that's a fish that's not being targeted. We want to target any fish that we grow.
That's right. And again, you make a really good point. We're not only helping the fish and give, maybe the babies a place to grow up, the bluegill a place to hang out and not get eaten on occasion. But we're also making targets for fishermen. So we actually know where, especially in a lake like Lake Y, that's really big, open, and shallow, without a lot of cover on it. That gives us a place that we know that we can go and target bass. And catching bass is part of the reason we're doing this.
That's almost all the reason we're doing this.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this. I think we'll end up doing a bathymetric survey on this lake, getting a model together, and being really precise with some of our future work out here on habitat improvement. I think in this particular case, habitat improvement is going to be one of the largest parts of the lake improvement project. That's not how it is at every lake, but this lake, I think that's going to be key.
That's exciting. And we got one more type, and this is, these are natural, but we also have some man-made structures, and this one is from Mossback. They make the trophy tree and a lot of other really cool products. And especially unlike the Christmas tree, And unlike even the hardwoods, these last a very, very long time.
Yeah, I think we'll be gone and they'll still be here. So I actually love these. Again, it can get a little bit costly to put a lot of them out. I love these in areas with a lot of fishing pressure, especially with kids. These are pretty easy to become untangled from. Not perfect, but pretty close. And if you have a lot of young anglers, and I think we should all be encouraging young anglers, you don't want to spend your entire day getting them untangled.
Right.
And no matter what you do, any of those over there, you're going to get tangled if they put a hook in it. This, a lot of times you can get it off. So in new lakes, we don't even use natural structure in the high traffic areas like the dock. We only use what we consider artificial structure, things like these. And this company makes a great product and does work.
Yeah, so it's gonna be fun because we're gonna put out every type that we've discussed on Lake Y. And it'll be curious to see if perhaps one outperforms the other. Have you ever seen that happen?
Oh yeah, I know which one it is, but I'm gonna let you find out.
All right, that's gonna be the fun part. We get to fish it.
There you go.
So what we're gonna do is let's go identify some good spots in Lake Y. We'll talk about why we like the area, and then let's drop some brush.
Wonderful.
All right, so we've got some Christmas trees here, and we've got some hardwoods. What we're going to do with these Christmas trees, they're going to go in about 7 foot of water, so they're pretty dry, so they're going to take a cinder block each. We're going to tie a cinder block to the base of each one of these, and then we're going to put that cinder block on the front of the boat back out to where they're going to be and kick those cinder blocks off, and they should float upright like this, and then you'll be able to fish these treetops. With the hardwoods, we'll put those on the deck of our boat and lash those up, and then we'll end up rolling that pile off really close together, maybe a little bit of separation between the two types of structure. So that's what we're going to move forward with.
All right, so John, we got some structure in Lake Y. It is a very first step of a very long process. It's certainly, the amount we put in today is not the end all be all, but it's a start.
Hey, you've got to start somewhere, and today we did. I think we've got some, you've got some ideas on that, how you can do it when we're not here. But we're going to go back and put together a comprehensive plan, including bathymetric mapping, where we're going to put structure long term and how we're going to bring in structure. It's going to make a difference. This lake, one of its attributes, positive attributes, is how large it is. Getting to that 10 to 20% structure, well, you know, now we're talking 5 to 10 acres of lake that has structure, and we're not doing that with a couple of Christmas trees. But what we did do with a few Christmas trees and bundles of brush is get a little excitement going on. We showed people today how to build those structures that want to do it on their own, and by the simple definition, there not being a lot of structure in a lake, I'm expecting there to be fish on those piles every time you go to them.
And as a matter of fact, between dropping in the Christmas trees and then the hardwood brush, when we ran over them, they were already marking fish on the Christmas trees. So to say that this lake was dying for some structure, these fish were needing some structure, may have been an understatement.
Yep, and I suspect they'll be targeting them shortly.
Yeah, it won't be long until some lures are buzzing past that. So this is fun. It's again, the beginning of this Lake Y process and project, and this was a really exciting part of it.
Well, I think it's important that you need to, we talked about at the beginning of this project, we'll talk about now, and we're going to talk about it again, is you want to put forth your goals and you want to make them attainable. So it's not reasonable to assume that we can get everything done overnight. And something like taking a lake with almost no structure and getting it to 10 or 20% is going to take several years. But as long as you've got a good plan and you're efficient and you stay targeted with what you're doing, you're going to get there.
That's right, and that's all it is, baby steps to our Bass 7. So that is it for now, and we'll see you on the next installment of the Lake Y Project.